Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lamasery, and this is our Saturday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Before we get started, I want to remind you it's not too late to sign up for Master David's live class in a couple of hours. Just go to circleofchi.com, click on training, and you can find out how to join that class. Today's subject matter is going to be in the footsteps of the first masters. Okay, in the footsteps of the first master. Well, we all know about Boganathar, Lao Tzu, and what happened in China and how that all evolved. Real key is that when he did leave China after the passing of Emperor Qin, he went in through Nepal and did not realize that his spiritual guide at the time, the person that he would see constantly in his dreams and in his meditation, was one of the great siddhas, Master Gorakshanath, that in Judean Christian scripture, we refer to him as Melchizedek, right? So he hadn't seen him yet in the physical form. So he went up there and began meditating for a couple of decades or so. And then one day, when Boganathar is around 170, 175, he gets a touch on his shoulders in the middle of meditation. And he opens up his eyes, and there is the great Gorakshanath, the great Melchizedek, standing in front of him. And that adage that when the student is ready, the master will appear. Well, that has many connotations. When the student is ready, the master will appear in your dream state, which is usually where they show up first. You're more comfortable with your conscious mind being asleep, not making judgments, kind of staying neutral, and they'll come to you. When the student is ready, the master then will start to appear in visions, a lot of time in your third eye. That can happen. It's a natural process. When the student is ready, the master then will show up in their astral body or in spirit form, and you're more conscious. Well, he was already having those experiences with Melchizedek, with Gorakshanath, being in the virgin forests of China. And then, of course, in meditation, when he was teaching and instructing Emperor Qin. But he had never experienced the physicalness, the power that really comes, the quality of Shaktipat when a real master takes on human embodiment and grounds that chi, because it's the grounding of the chi that is so significant, which is what we teach here at the circleofchi.com. So here he is, 175 years old, opens up his eyes. He smiles, so happy to see his master. He knows himself that this is an incredible honor, incredible, amazing honor. And then he begins to guide him over the next several decades. And it will be when he's just about approaching 200 years of age in the body that he'll start to tell him it's time for you to duplicate your process. it's time for us to begin to find who are going to be those first series of students. Well, lo and behold, they get the idea for the Lamasery, the original Lamasery in Darchen, Tibet, which is exactly where Boganathar was meditating when Gorthness, Melchizedek, taps him on the shoulder. Little by little, it's unbeknownst to them, one by one, there'll be someone who would show up. Maybe they came from Nepal, where Gorthness was, and they could pick up on Gorthness or Melchizedek's energy. Maybe people in China started feeling this incredible signal because of Boganathar being 40 to 50 years in nature, and then another 20 to 30 years with Emperor Qin. It means he was there 75 plus years, had to leave his mark. What about the guy that followed him from China, out to Nepal? Who was that being who asked him to jot down the I Ching of the time, right? Who was that person who was already honoring the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who, when he shows up, you'll know Boganathar or Lao Tzu's close by, because you'll smell the smelling of jasmine. That's right, jasmine. You ever smelled the smell of jasmine? It's almost hypnotic, the scent. It's just amazing what the scent of jasmine will do to you. But that is the scent of Boganathar, just like the smell of the rose. Fresh cut roses are the scent of Mother Mary, Jesus's mother. Sandalwood is the scent for Babaji, Melchizedek's mentor and being. It was about toward the end of the preparation where now Melchizedek in this lifetime introduces Boganathar to his master of masters, some refer to as the Yoga Christ of India. Boganathar realizes in meeting Babaji that, my gosh, I've been with this guy for a long, long time. All of his incarnations start coming across the veil of his unconsciousness, and they become conscious. The three of them make a decision exactly where the Darchen Lamasery will be built. And over the next 20 to 30 years, brick by brick, stone by stone, rail by rail, the Lamasery comes into being. Simultaneously, they'll go down to the little village in Darchen, and they'll come across somebody who's trying to find them. And they say, well, if you're trying to find it, well, let us take you to them. Never telling the people in the village that who the people were looking for was actually them. Lo and behold, they would get to the Lamasery only to find out that who they had followed to the Lamasery was Bole Baba Kijay, or Gorthness, or Boganathar, or all two or three of them. They would only reveal themselves once they were in the temple and in the sanctuary in the middle of the temple, and they knew that more than likely they were going to stay. In other words, they wouldn't be out there roaming around a bunch of people and talking about where the temple and the Lamasery is and what they were going to do. And because of these early days, that foundation of secrecy was established in the Lamasery right away from the get-go. The only way that you really knew them, there had to be a master or a lama bring you to the Lamasery to find out they're there already. As a matter of fact, that's how Lamaji, millenniums later, were showing up in northern Nepal, and an old wooden cart with two big giant wheels being pulled by two ox with Afghan rugs in the back. They roll up Lamaji and two other Americans, and we trek in. Takes us a couple hours. Two oxes pulling a wagon, doesn't, and Lamaji's in the back, just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. I'm laughing half the time, having a good time like the monkey llama does. And then we finally get to the foothill of where the village is to find out that we're going to walk. And as we begin to walk, Maha Master Boyang, who was Lamaji's mentor / the Buddha, begins to tell us how many different great souls had walked that same track. By the time we get to the stairs leading up to the Lamasery, we'd already climbed an additional 1,500 elevation into the mountains before we even came to the stairs of the Lamasery. And then we get ready to go up 108 steps. We should not be surprised, right? And we go up there, and only to realize the great sages, the great siddhas, all the lamas of 3,000 years had all walked this path. I remember that I was transfixed. I was so awed and so humble. I'll never forget, as I'm walking up the steps for the first time, the clouds in the sky, they parted. And you could just see the sun beginning to set. It was twilight in the Himalayas. If you can imagine, it would be a view that my brother Joseph McCurley would love to paint. The Lamasery with the clouds parting and the sun setting. Lamaji was transfixed. It all caught up with me, all the travel, all the training for almost 4 years in America with Lamaji. It just all of a sudden, I burst with tears of joy and truly know that I had come home. The same way that you know that when you join us here at the Circle of Chi, right, that you are home and we have been expecting you. Barakabashai, may the blessings be to you and to your glorious family. I'm so grateful to be here with you today and to be back in this beautiful age of transformation. God bless us all. God bless Judith and Tom Simmons, who are preparing to host the greatest tour that we've done so far. It's going to be wonderful. We have a few seats left with the live streaming for Tucson. It's going to be one Saturday you do not want to miss. Make sure you sign up today, because May the 1st, the early bird pricing of the streaming goes away. Why pay more for what you know you want to do today? Namaste. God be with you all this weekend. Be a blessing to someone in a way they cannot be that blessing to themselves. That's our motto here at COC. God bless you all. Love you much. See you bright and early on Monday. Don't be late.